So let me put this to the way of the people other than Jeff Bezos. For most you mortals, let me explain some of that. I'm fun right now. You gotta know the problem. You gotta know the problem in the battery car build. It's a challenge. It's kind of like a math problem.
Not good for the future.
Well, like I said, the limiting on the program when you're programming, and I want it to do this, some action that does an action, and well, when you get to the problem of cost for cost, when it's direct spread, there's nothing that is free. If anything, profit is a line of certain set of industry inside here that does go to a UBI droid type of facility.
Which is
no, well, you've created one.
It's a non-profit actually. There's no. I think the governance structure is important.
He's always with you. Don't worry.
We want to make sure that there was not some fiduciary duty to generate, profit off of the AI technology.
It's you when you need to be salty. It's you, and you've got to be sharp about
we created this.
Because that's the cheap, dirty, non-profit Z-Coin that picks up the work that you're supposed to be looking for while programming that thing. Well, there's a time limit, even if this is good. Oppenheimer, Feynman had his limits in Bell with the quantum computer. Let's look at some of the entropy of the build inside here where there's a job. But there's an upper limit on the tech. It's like that's where the air turbulence equation is, and it's going to be found in Boeing, just like the NASA's version of it that is NASA's.
So OpenAI has a very high sense of urgency.
And some clickety button clicks here to the program with a singularity differential. I'll just click this droid right now and have a challenge, even if these were actors. The regular standard of where I commonly have mine built, but it might be benevolent or malevolent as to the entire structure.
Acton, he was the guy that came up with power corrupts and absolute power corrupts, absolutely.
How?
Which is that
you say a factor on some wave functions of several of those things getting together that condenses at least the F1 to F2, F1 or F1 plus F2 equals minus F1, and then you got the triangulations. You want you to do this? I don't. I mean,
singularity because it's difficult to predict.
It's tough.
Exactly what future that might be. Except I don't know.
It's got to make the action. And that action at this point in time is some tests that can be programmed very well. But when it comes to those programmers doing the test in reality, the AI program, oh, you're in charge by a name, PhD, maxed out to M1.
There's only one. Like this is sort of like what would be the point of competing for?
Save quantity. Then you get the upside down triangle, right?
It's not about competing. It's really just about trying to increase the probability that the future will be good. That's all. So
it's gravity. G, muon.
The goal of OpenAI is really just to take the set of actions that are most likely to
talk about autonomously programmed into your skull since you were.
Of probability streams that branch out and then converge, collapse down to a particular event, and then branch out again.
Elon's right there, but I'm sure as shit Einstein and Newton ain't far behind him in that room.
At OpenAI, we want to
can't get away from that kind of gravity.
Do whatever we can to guide to increase the probability of a good future happening. I think that's
Madam
really
Curie still going out there, Sophie Star.
I mean, a good rebuttal to that.
Pain train.
However, I think if AI power is widely distributed,
Pilot's theory, sure.
And there's not, say, one entity that has some super AI that is 1,000,000 times smarter than anything else. If
just real fast at it with the good programming.
And to the degree that we can link
an abacus with
AI
on steroids, all this shit.
You
are the non-benevolent, benign.
Like everyone would have their sort of AI agent.
That's all do exactly what you tell it to do, GPT-3. If I program his asset in the last stand in front of there, because I figured out my biomechanics with Disney Plus, and we got it all in the CGI, and had him LiDAR that stuff, and he drove autonomously in the car. That is autonomous.
Or more likely, at least in the beginning, is controlled by...
That'd be your happy ass going to the grocery store on Wednesday.
Going back to the AI situation...
You'll need to know that program. And if you don't, it'll have the same problem.
If you assume any rate of advancement in AI, we will be left behind by a lot.
You know, kind of give you some
so then
bits to
we
mind.
could be in
you might
benign but even the benign situation, if you have if you have ultra intelligent AI, we would be,
at the best end, you couldn't even say that that's what it is. Because at some human level, you need to be like,
look.
look.
The world, it could be. Honestly, that would be the benign
GPT-3.
I mean, I don't love the idea of being
you into that mechanic shed, and I'm gonna kick
what is an actual good future? What does that actually look like? Or at least bad, or
they can
we're
be
headed
fake
towards
me real
either
easy, but would he get it?
or civilization ending. Those like the two.
He'd get that. You could get him to say that autonomously if I could do it.
Intelligence will keep advancing.
Figure me out the enigma.
Nothing
Get
that
the
would
W.
for advancing is something that puts civilization into stasis or destroys civilization. So then we have to figure out what is a world that
Bell's
we would
equality
like to be
to this
in, where
cowboy.
there is this,
Look at him. Look at him.
Digital superintelligence.
But can you get his brain in there without this thing slitting your throat at one point in time? It's like, sorry, meatbag, you gotta go. I mean, if you come out fried, I could just say it did, and I copied you, but that doesn't necessarily make the comp.
In the form of your phone and your computer and all your applications.
He does.
You are already superhuman.
Conventional thinking doesn't disrupt the status quo, which is why T-Mobile for Business uses unconventional thinking to help your business realize new possibilities. Only one 5G partner offers unmatched network support and value without any trade-offs.
Kind of in the way you are an LED, but you're also a solar cell.
More power, more capability.
Except for there's an electron that bounces off there, and you got to chase it like Tesla back in the day.
If you have an internet link,
put it in your jar.
You have an oracle of wisdom. You can communicate to millions of people. You can communicate to the rest of Earth instantly. I mean, these are magical powers that didn't
Gravity
exist not that
has
long
a beautiful
ago.
way of just expressing that problem when you get one cowboy that can turn it into binary.
The limitation is one of bandwidth. So we're bandwidth constrained, particularly on output. So our input is much better, but our output
just binary.
is
Can you
slow.
do that with this code? Make it absolutely. I have it right here on my cell phone.
It's a few hundred bits per second or a kilobit or something like that.
How long did it take you?
The way we output is like a little meat stick that we move very slowly and push buttons or tap a little screen.
It's a good way to make energy when it's real good. I'm not saying I should be the standard model for that.
Compare that to a computer which can communicate at the terabit level. So very big orders of magnitude differences. The analogy to
put a foot in your ass and make you never want to wish you worked in the stone mill ever again, though.
It's not as though it's going to explode and create a mushroom cloud. It's more like if there were just a few people that had it, they would be able to be essentially dictators of Earth, or whoever acquired it, and if it was limited to a small number of people, and it was ultra smart, they would have to maneuver.
Take that dude off.
As long as AI powers, like anyone can get it if they want it, and we've got something faster than meat sticks to communicate with, then I think the future will be good.
Take Jamie Dimon on.
I have to say that when something is
we got somebody at the board, Bill Gates,
then there needs to be some.
I've seen Peacock do it.
I hate to say government agency, like regulators. Like I'm not the biggest fan of regulators, like because
the day after they tested the nuclear bomb, huh, Bill?
But the fact is, like we've got regulators in, the aircraft industry, car industry, deal with them all the time.
Some honesty there.
With drugs, food, and anything that's sort of a public risk. I think this has to fall into the category of a public risk.
If you're walking on it. Otherwise, it's pretty good.
So I think
that's
actually
the steady flame of stream of ease right there.
With the government reaction speed matches the advancement speed of AI.
GPT look at you. Hey, look outside the window. That's
paddling. Move slowly, and they tend to be reactive as opposed to proactive. But you can look at these other industries and say, like, does anybody really want the FAA to go away?
If it's my job to train them, and then that question about benevolence or malevolence comes up later.
There's a reason it's there. Or just people
be around for a long time, like some of these other field theory equations.
Maybe they work, maybe they don't. we have that in supplements, like, which is kind of ridiculous. But I think on balance, FDA is good.
The Supreme Court Roe v. Wade case was really the only one I needed for quantum physics. So the rest of
regulatory authority, and I think it's like the rebuttal to that is like, well, people will just like move to Costa Rica or something. That's not true. Okay, like
got it all, Sarge.
We don't see Boeing moving to Costa Rica or to Venezuela or wherever.
You take the laws, you take the vote after you do it, because it'll be malevolent or benevolent somebody. I bet you somebody, if I had a little tab right here, what do you think? Give you the Fed dollars for what it is instead of the horse shit, and you just do it from your desks, I still think you'd do better. Kind of why I'm pissed about you taking the Fed, but you take the Air Force pad time, but you don't take the Fed. Let me see it, whip it out. Yeah, that's the difference. There's a number in here. I ain't where it's supposed to be, not in its proper space, where it is supposed to do the ones and zero.
They're a pain in the neck, but they're necessary.
This GPT-3 ain't gonna give you no beep beep stuff, dude. Catch you on the next one.